Hello, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Jason, your host for today.
And I'm Julia, your co-host. We're so happy to have you with us again. Whether you're learning English as a beginner or just trying to become more fluent, you're in the right place.
In today's episode, we're talking about something that happens to every English learner forgetting words while speaking.
Oh yes, it happens all the time. You're in the middle of a conversation and suddenly, your mind goes blank. The word is on the tip of your tongue, but you just can't remember it.
Exactly. And guess what? That's totally normal. Even native speakers forget words sometimes. So today, we're going to help you understand why this happens and what you can do in the moment when it does.
We'll also share practical tips, real examples, and fun ways to stay calm and confident even when you forget a word. By the end of this episode, you'll have a toolkit you can use in any speaking situation.
So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's dive into this very helpful and very real topic: what to do when you forget words while speaking. You know, Julia, I still remember a moment a few years ago when I completely forgot the word umbrella during a conversation in the middle of a heavy rainstorm.
Oh no, what happened?
I was visiting London, and it suddenly started pouring. I ran into a small shop and wanted to ask the man at the counter if they sold umbrellas. But guess what? I totally blanked. I could see the umbrella in my mind. I knew what it looked like, but I just couldn't remember the word.
So what did you do?
I ended up saying, "Do you sell the thing that blocks the rain?" And I pointed upward. The man smiled and said, "You mean an umbrella?" And I was like, "Yes, that's the word." We both laughed. It was a little embarrassing at first, but it turned into a friendly moment.
That's such a great example. I've had similar moments too. Once during a presentation in university, I completely forgot the word environment. I tried so hard to remember, but it just disappeared. So I said, the world around us, nature, people, air, water, and kept going.
That's smart. You described the word instead of stopping. And that's a great strategy we'll talk more about today.
Exactly. These kinds of moments happen to all of us, and it doesn't mean you're bad at English. It just means you're human. What matters is how you handle it.
Yes, and today we'll share exactly how to do that, step by step.
So now that we've shared some real stories, let's talk about why this actually happens. Why do we forget words, especially when we really need them?
Great question. First of all, forgetting words is a normal part of language learning. In fact, even native English speakers forget words sometimes, especially when they're nervous or tired.
That's true. One common reason is anxiety. When you feel nervous, maybe you're speaking in front of someone new or trying to speak perfectly, your brain can sort of freeze and the words just disappear.
Exactly. Your brain goes into stress mode, and it becomes harder to think clearly. It's like the word is in your head, but there's a block stopping it from coming out.
Another reason is that you're still building your vocabulary. When we learn new words, they don't always stay in our long-term memory right away. If you haven't used a word enough times, it's easier to forget it.
Yes, and sometimes learners try to speak too quickly. When you speak faster than you think, you might lose track of the words you need.
That's a great point. And sometimes it's not about vocabulary at all. Maybe you're just tired, or your brain is processing too much information at once, especially if you're switching between languages.
Right. It happens to me when I'm learning Spanish. I know the word, I've studied it, but in conversation, poof, it's gone.
So if you're listening right now and this happens to you, don't worry, you're not alone. And the good news is, there are easy ways to handle it, and we're going to talk about those next.
Stick with us, because we're just getting started. All right, now that we know why we forget words, let's talk about when it usually happens. Because if we understand the situations that cause it, we can be better prepared next time.
Absolutely. One very common situation is during introductions or interviews. You want to sound smart and confident, but suddenly your brain freezes and simple words just disappear.
Yes, like you want to say what your hobby is or where you're from, and you forget something basic. That pressure makes it worse.
Another situation is during a phone call, especially in English. Without body language or visual clues, it can be harder to think of the right words.
Good point. Also, people often forget words when they're trying to explain something complicated like giving directions, talking about their job, or sharing an opinion.
And let's not forget classroom situations when a teacher asks a question and everyone's watching you. That nervous feeling can make even simple vocabulary hard to remember.
Exactly. And the emotions that come with it, embarrassment, frustration, feeling not good enough, can really lower your confidence.
Yes, and it's so important to say this: you are not alone. These emotions are completely normal. And forgetting a word doesn't mean you're bad at English, it just means you're in the middle of learning.
And sometimes those emotions are even stronger when you're talking to a native speaker, right?
Oh, yes, you might feel shy or afraid of making mistakes, but the truth is, most native speakers are very understanding when you forget a word. They've been there too in other languages.
So just to sum up, common situations include job interviews, phone calls, class discussions, or deep conversations, and common feelings are nervousness, panic, or self-doubt.
But don't worry, right after the break, we'll talk about exactly what you can do in those moments when the word just disappears.
Stay with us. We've got practical tips coming up next. Now let's get into the heart of today's episode. What can you actually do when you forget a word while speaking English?
We've got 7 smart, simple, and very effective things you can do. These tips are used by both English learners and fluent speakers in real conversations.
Let's start with the first one.
If you forget the exact word, just use a similar one. For example, if you forget the word angry, you can say mad or upset.
Yes, even if it's not a perfect match, people will still understand your meaning. The goal is to keep the conversation going, not to be perfect. This is one of my favorites. Let's say you forget the word hospital. You can say, the place where sick people go.
Exactly. Describe it. Use short, clear phrases. What it does, how it looks, where it is. People will understand, and often they'll say the word for you. If you're talking face to face, use your hands. Show the shape, size, or action. If you forget the word phone, pretend to hold one to your ear.
It helps a lot. Communication is more than just words. Body language can fill in the blanks. Sometimes all you need is a second to remember the word. Don't panic, just pause. You can say, or let me think, or even, what's the word?
Yes, native speakers do this all the time. It gives your brain a moment to catch up without stopping the conversation. You can ask the other person, "What's the word for?" Or "How do you say?" This shows you're trying and open to learning.
People usually love to help, and it turns the moment into a friendly learning opportunity instead of something embarrassing. Many learners say, "Sorry, my English is bad," when they forget a word. But don't do that. You're learning, and that's something to be proud of.
Yes, just smile, stay calm, and move on. Focus on what you can say, not what you forgot. Keep going with confidence. This one's a little unusual, but really powerful. Practice forgetting. Choose a word, pretend you forget it, and then try to describe it or use a synonym.
That's like building a real-life skill. It trains your brain to think flexibly, so when it happens in real conversation, you know exactly what to do.
Let's quickly repeat the 7 smart things you can do when you forget a word. 1. Use a synonym. 2. Describe the word. 3. Use gestures. 4. Pause and use fillers. 5. Ask for help. 6. Keep going with confidence. 7. Practice forgetting on purpose.
These tips are not just for beginners. They're used by intermediate and even advanced learners to sound natural and fluent.
So next time you forget a word, don't panic. Just choose one of these tips and keep the conversation flowing.
Up next, we'll talk about how you can train your brain to forget less often in the future. All right, so we've talked about what to do in the moment when you forget a word. But how about preparing ahead of time? How can you practice so that this happens less often?
Great question. Let's go over some smart and fun ways to train your brain so you're more confident and fluent during real conversations. Take 5 random objects around your house like a spoon, a book, or a pair of shoes. Now, without saying the object's name, describe it.
For example, instead of saying book, you can say it's something you read. It has pages. People use it to learn or for fun.
Exactly. This trains your brain to explain ideas, not just memorize words.
Choose a situation, maybe you're at the doctor, in a restaurant, or meeting a new friend. Then, practice talking as if you're really there.
And if you forget a word during role play, great. That's your chance to practice using one of the 7 strategies we shared earlier. Listen to short podcasts or dialogues. Pause after each sentence, then repeat it out loud. Try to copy the tone, rhythm, and speed.
This helps you build confidence and muscle memory so words come to you more naturally when you speak. Pick a word, then quickly think of 3 to 5 words related to it. For example, coffee, you might say cup, hot, morning, cafe.
This kind of game helps your brain build connections between words, making it easier to remember them later. Choose a topic, talk for 1 minute, and record yourself. If you get stuck, don't stop, describe the word or use gestures.
Later, listen and notice how you handled the moment. Over time, you'll see real progress and build speaking confidence.
Remember, practice doesn't mean being perfect. It means getting comfortable with imperfection and learning how to keep going.
That's the key. The more you practice these exercises, the more automatic your speaking becomes, even if you forget a word once in a while.
Coming up next, we'll give you some encouraging final thoughts to help you stay confident and motivated.
Stick around, we're almost there. Before we end today's episode, we want to remind you of something very important.
Yes, listen closely. It's okay to forget words. It happens to everyone, even native English speakers.
Absolutely. Think about it. How many times have you heard someone say, "What's that word again?" Or "I'm blanking right now"? It's totally normal.
Forgetting a word doesn't mean your English is bad. It just means you're human. You're learning, you're growing, and your brain is doing its best.
And the fact that you're trying to speak in English even when it's uncomfortable is something to be proud of.
So next time you forget a word, don't say, "I'm sorry, my English is terrible." Instead, say, "Give me a second, I'm learning."
Confidence comes from not being perfect, but from learning how to handle those imperfect moments with calm and creativity.
You are doing amazing. Keep speaking, keep practicing, keep showing up.
Because every time you do, you're getting better, even if you don't see it right away.
And remember, fluent speakers aren't people who never forget words. They're people who've learned how to keep going when they do.
You've got this. Keep going one conversation at a time. All right, before we wrap up today's episode, let's have a little fun with a quick speaking challenge.
Oh, I love this part. Are you ready, listeners? Here's the challenge. We'll give you a simple word, but your job is to describe it without saying the word itself.
This is great practice for moments when you forget a word. Okay, here we go. Julia, what's today's challenge word?
Let's go with umbrella. Now don't say umbrella. Instead, try describing it. For example, it's something you use when it rains. It keeps your head and clothes dry. You hold it with your hand and open it above you.
Perfect example. Now, it's your turn, dear listener. Pause the podcast if you need to. Say your description out loud even better if you record yourself.
And hey, if you want, send us a message or voice note with your description. We'd love to hear your creativity.
These small challenges help build your speaking muscles and make your learning journey more fun.
All right, great job, everyone. Now let's wrap it up with a few final thoughts.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. We hope this conversation gave you confidence and tools you can actually use when you forget a word while speaking English.
Yes, remember, forgetting a word doesn't mean failure. It means you're learning, and learning always involves a little bit of struggle. That's completely okay.
We've covered everything from why it happens, how it makes you feel, what you can do in the moment, and even how to practice so it happens less often.
And most importantly, we reminded you that you are not alone. Every learner and even every fluent speaker has moments where they pause, forget, or fumble.
So don't give up. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and don't be afraid of mistakes. They're your best teachers.
If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to follow our podcast and share it with a friend who's learning English too.
And if you have a question or want to share your story, leave us a comment or send us a message. We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks for spending time with us today, and remember, you're doing better than you think.
Keep talking, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Jason, your host, and I'm so glad you're here with us today.
And I'm Julia, your co-host. Thanks for joining us. If you're trying to improve your English speaking skills, you're in the right place. Today's topic is super powerful. It's called Listen More, Speak Better, Grow Faster.
Yes, this idea might surprise some learners. A lot of people think, I need to speak more to get better at English. But in reality, listening is the secret weapon.
That's right. The more you listen, the more you understand how real English sounds, the pronunciation, the rhythm, the natural expressions. And when you understand better, you start to speak more confidently and correctly.
Exactly. In today's episode, we're going to break it all down. We'll talk about why listening helps you speak better, the common mistakes learners make with listening, how to build smart listening habits, and we'll even share some real-life stories of people who improved just by listening more.
Plus, we'll give you practical tips you can start using today, things you can do even if you're busy or just learning at home.
So, if you're ready to grow faster in your English journey, stay with us till the end. It's going to be a powerful episode.
Let's get started.
So, Julia, let's jump into the big question. Why is listening so important if I want to speak better English?
That's a great question, Jason. Here's the truth: we learn to speak by listening first. It's the same way babies learn their first language. They listen for months before they ever say a word.
Exactly. Babies don't start by reading grammar books, right? They just listen. They hear their parents, songs, and everyday conversations, and little by little they begin to understand. Then they start speaking.
Right. And it's the same with English learners. If you listen a lot, you start to hear how words are really used, how sentences flow, how native speakers stress certain words. You begin to build a kind of English feeling in your brain.
Yes, that feeling is so important. It helps you speak more naturally, without always thinking about grammar rules.
Also, when you listen regularly, you improve your vocabulary, pronunciation, and sentence structure almost without trying.
I totally agree. Let's give an example. Imagine someone is learning English and they hear this sentence often. I'm gonna grab some coffee. At first, they might not understand it, but after hearing it a few times, they realize, oh, that means I'm going to get some coffee.
Yes. And soon, without memorizing it, they can say it naturally. I'm gonna grab some coffee. That's the power of listening. It teaches you real-life English.
Another thing is pronunciation. A lot of learners speak English with good grammar, but with strong accents or unnatural rhythm, because they haven't listened enough.
That's so true. When you listen often to native speakers, to podcasts, to YouTube videos, you begin to copy the way English sounds. You start to speak like the people you listen to.
Yes, and that's a good thing. You're training your brain and your mouth at the same time. Listening is like a secret teacher that's always helping you in the background.
I love that. A secret teacher. And one more thing, listening helps reduce fear. When you understand more, you feel more confident, and confidence leads to better speaking.
Exactly. So, to everyone listening right now, if you want to speak better, you need to listen more. It's not magic, it's smart practice.
And don't worry if you don't understand everything at first. Just keep listening. Your brain is learning even when you don't realize it.
All right, up next, we'll talk about some common mistakes learners make with listening and how to avoid them. Stay with us. All right, Julia. So we just talked about why listening is so important for speaking better. But many learners don't always get great results from listening. Let's talk about why that happens.
Yes, there are some common mistakes people make when it comes to listening. Let's go through them one by one. Mistake number 1 is just listening passively.
Oh yeah, like putting on a podcast while doing the dishes or walking, but not really focusing.
Exactly. That kind of background listening isn't bad, but if you only do that, you're not really training your brain. You need active listening where you really focus, try to understand, maybe pause, repeat, or take notes.
That's a key point. Passive listening is like putting headphones on a plant and hoping it grows. You have to be engaged to grow.
Haha, I love that example. Okay, mistake number 2, choosing listening materials that are too difficult.
Yes! Some learners start with fast English movies or news channels, and they feel lost. Then they think, I'm not good at English, and they give up.
Right. But the truth is, they just chose the wrong level. You should pick materials that are just a little above your level, something you mostly understand, but with a few new words or phrases.
Exactly. That way, you feel challenged but not overwhelmed. It's like lifting weights. Don't start with 100 kilos on day 1.
So true. Mistake number 3, not repeating or reviewing. Many learners listen once and move on, but the best way to learn is to listen again and again.
Yes, repetition is powerful. The first time, you catch 50%. The second time, 70%. The third time, maybe 90%. Your brain needs to hear things more than once to make it stick.
That's why things like shadowing or repeating with subtitles can help so much, but many learners skip that part.
And finally, mistake number 4, thinking you need to understand every word. That's not true at all.
Yes, even native speakers don't catch every word in a fast conversation. You need to focus on the overall meaning, not every single word.
If you get the main idea, you're learning. Don't stop just because you don't know one word. Guess it from the context, or check it later.
So, quick recap. Don't just listen passively. Don't choose content that's too hard. Don't listen just once, repeat. Don't worry about understanding every word.
Well said, Julia. Avoiding these mistakes can make your listening practice way more effective.
Absolutely. And coming up next, we'll share how to listen more effectively with real tips you can use today. Stay tuned.
All right, now let's get to the practical part. How can learners listen more effectively? We don't want them to waste time, right?
Exactly. Let's share some smart techniques that can really help. First tip: focus when you listen. Don't just play the audio while scrolling on your phone.
Yes, treat your listening time like a workout. When you focus fully, you understand more, remember more, and improve faster.
Totally. And that leads to the second tip: repeat what you hear. Repetition is powerful. Don't just listen once and move on.
Absolutely. Let's say you listen to a 2-minute podcast. Play it once, then listen again. Then try to repeat some of the sentences out loud. That's called shadowing.
Yes! Shadowing is one of my favorite techniques. You listen to a sentence and speak at the same time as the speaker. It helps you with pronunciation, fluency, and confidence.
And it feels a little awkward at first, but it really works. You begin to sound more natural, like the speaker you're copying.
Tip number 3: use subtitles or transcripts. When something is too fast, turn on English subtitles. Or even better, find a video or podcast with a full transcript.
Exactly. First, listen without subtitles if you can. Then listen again with subtitles or read the transcript. This helps you catch what you missed and learn new vocabulary.
Speaking of vocabulary, here's tip number 4: write down new words or phrases, just 2 or 3 per day.
Yes, don't try to learn 20 words in one sitting. If you hear the phrase, take a break, write it down. Then try using it in your own sentence later.
Right. That's how listening connects to speaking. You hear something, you understand it, you say it, and it becomes part of your English.
Here's another tip: listen to what you enjoy. If you like music, start with English songs. If you love food, watch cooking videos in English.
That's such a great point. When you enjoy what you're listening to, it's easier to stay focused, and you'll want to come back to it again and again.
And you don't have to understand 100%. Just get the idea. Even 60 to 70% is fine. You'll improve with time.
Another trick: slow down the audio. On YouTube or podcast apps, you can play things at 0.75x speed. That gives your brain more time to process the words.
Yes, slow it down and then slowly increase the speed as your listening improves. It's like training: start easy, then level up.
So let's summarize these tips quickly. Focus fully when listening. Repeat or shadow what you hear. Use subtitles or transcripts to help. Write down and use 2 to 3 new words. Listen to topics you enjoy. Slow the audio if needed.
These are simple things, but they can make a big difference. Don't just listen, smart.
Exactly. Listening is not just hearing English, it's training your brain to speak better.
Well said. Coming up next, we'll explain how listening leads to real speaking results. Don't go anywhere. So far, we've talked a lot about listening, why it matters, and how to do it better. But now, let's connect it to speaking. How does listening actually help us speak better?
Great question, Jason. Here's the truth: listening is the input, and speaking is the output. You can't speak what you haven't heard.
That's so true. It's like trying to cook a meal without ingredients. No matter how good your kitchen is, if there's nothing to work with, you can't make anything.
Exactly. When you listen to English, you collect the sounds, the grammar, the rhythm, and the phrases. Your brain stores them. And when it's time to speak, boom, you start using what you've heard.
Right. I remember a student who always watched English cooking shows. After a while, she could say phrases like, chop the onions, or let it simmer without even thinking, just because she'd heard them so many times.
Yes, that's the natural learning process. First, you listen, then you understand, and finally, you use it in speaking.
Now let's talk about pronunciation. How does listening help with that?
Oh, listening is huge for pronunciation. When you hear native speakers often, you notice how they connect words, stress certain syllables, or even drop sounds.
Yes, Like how, "What are you doing?" becomes, "What you doing?" It's hard to read that in a book, but easy to catch when you hear it.
Exactly. And when learners repeat what they hear, even short phrases, they start to sound more natural and confident.
Another thing is fluency. Many people think fluency is about speaking fast, but actually, fluency is about speaking smoothly and naturally.
Yes, and that smoothness comes from listening. If you listen to English daily, your brain starts to feel the flow of the language, and that helps your speech become more automatic.
And let's not forget, listening builds confidence. When you understand more, you feel ready to speak more.
Totally agree. You're not afraid of conversations because your brain has already heard similar phrases before.
So to sum it up, listening gives you the words, sounds, and grammar you need. It helps you copy natural pronunciation. It trains your brain to speak more fluently. And it builds confidence.
Exactly. So if you want to speak English better, faster, and more naturally, start by listening more. It really works.
Coming up next, we'll talk about some daily listening habits that you can start today to boost your progress. Stay with us. All right, Julia, now it's time for the fun part, real simple daily habits that our listeners can follow to improve their English through listening.
Yes, these aren't difficult things. They're small habits you can add to your day even if you're busy. Let's start with habit number 1. Start your day with 5 minutes of English audio.
I love that. Right after waking up, play a short podcast or YouTube video in English maybe while brushing your teeth or making breakfast.
Exactly. This helps your brain get into English mode early and sets the tone for the day.
Habit number 2. Use dead time to listen. That means when you're walking, on the bus, or doing chores, just plug in your earphones and listen to something in English.
Yes, we all have small pockets of free time. Even 10 minutes here and there adds up to hours of listening every week.
And remember, even passive listening helps your ears get used to English sounds.
Habit number 3 is my favorite. Repeat one short clip every day. Choose a video or audio you like and play it multiple times. Listen, then shadow it, then speak it on your own.
Yes, one short dialogue, maybe 30 seconds long, can teach you pronunciation, grammar, and natural phrases. And it sticks in your memory better than trying to listen to something new every day.
Exactly. Okay, habit number 4, watch English content with subtitles but in English.
Right. English subtitles help you match what you hear with what you read. Over time, you'll rely less on the subtitles and understand more with your ears.
Yes, and you can pause and repeat anything you don't get. It's a super easy way to improve listening and reading at the same time.
Habit number 5. Keep a listening journal. Write down 2 to 3 things after each listening session, new words, phrases, or even just what the audio was about.
That's a great one. It only takes a few minutes, but it helps you reflect and remember what you learned.
Let's quickly list all 5 habits again. Start your day with 5 minutes of English audio. Use your dead time to listen. Repeat one short clip daily. Watch with English subtitles. Keep a listening journal.
These habits are simple, but if you do them every day, you'll see real improvement. Listening becomes part of your life, not just something you have to study.
And the more you listen, the more confident you'll feel when it's time to speak. It's all connected.
Exactly. So, to all our listeners, pick just one habit today and start there. You don't have to do everything at once.
Great advice, Julia. Coming up next, we'll share real success stories of people who listened more and started speaking better. You won't want to miss this. All right, Julia, we've shared the tips and the habits. But now, let's talk about real people learners who improved their English just by listening more.
Yes, real stories always inspire. So here's one. I had a student named Amina from Morocco. She didn't feel confident speaking English, but instead of just studying grammar, she started listening to English podcasts every day for 15 minutes.
Wow, that's a small habit, but it can go a long way.
Exactly. After just 2 months, Amina said she started thinking in English, and her speaking became more natural. She even started answering customer calls in English at her job.
That's amazing. Just by listening more, she started speaking better, exactly what this episode is about.
Here's another one. A guy named Luis from Brazil told me he watched one episode of a cooking show in English every day with subtitles. After a few weeks, he started copying the phrases like, let it simmer or add a pinch of salt.
Ha ha ha. So he was improving his English and his cooking.
Yes, and he said the best part was he didn't even feel like he was studying. It was fun.
That's a great point. When you enjoy what you're listening to, your brain is more open and learning becomes natural.
Totally. And one more quick story. A teenager from India named Ravi told me he improved his pronunciation by listening to English songs and singing along every day.
Music is such a powerful tool. It teaches rhythm, pronunciation, and new words all in one.
So whether it's podcasts, shows, YouTube, or music, all of these learners used listening as their secret to growing faster.
And if they can do it, so can you. Listening isn't just a skill, it's your gateway to fluency.
Well said, Jason. And up next, let's wrap things up with a quick recap and motivation boost to help you get started today.
All right, friends, before we wrap up today's episode, let's give you 3 quick things you can do today to start improving your English through listening.
Yes, no excuses. These are short, simple, and super helpful. Tip number 1. Choose a 2-minute English video you like, maybe a short podcast clip, a YouTube video, or even a song.
Listen to it twice. First, just listen. Second time, try to repeat or shadow the speaker. Just copy how they say the words.
Tip number 2. Write down one new word or phrase you heard, just one. Then try to use it in your own sentence.
And tip number 3. Talk to yourself in English for 1 minute after listening. Describe what you heard. It doesn't have to be perfect, just speak.
These little habits take just 5 to 10 minutes, but if you do them every day, you'll grow faster than you think.
So try these tips today and remember, the more you listen, the better you speak.
Thanks for joining us, and keep listening, learning, and growing every day.
So friends, remember this, you don't need to be perfect to start. You just need to start listening more, a little every day.
Yes, every minute you listen in English is a step toward better speaking, more confidence, and real progress.
Be patient with yourself, keep going, and enjoy the journey. English is not just a language, it's a skill you build over time.
And we're here with you every step of the way. Keep listening, stay motivated, and don't stop growing.
Thanks for joining us on today's episode of the English Learning Podcast. Until next time, keep learning, keep listening.
And always believe you can speak better, faster. See you soon.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Jason, your host, and today's episode is going to be super helpful for anyone who wants to speak English more fluently and make sentences faster.
Hi there, I'm Julia, your co-host, and trust me, today's topic is something every English learner needs. I remember when I used to take forever just to make one simple sentence in English. It was frustrating.
Oh, absolutely. Many learners struggle with that. You know, you have the words in your head, but when it's time to speak, you freeze. Or the words come out in the wrong order. Sound familiar?
Yes, that was me. I knew vocabulary, I even knew grammar rules, but when I had to speak in real life, I just couldn't make sentences fast enough.
Exactly. And that's what we're here to help with today. In this episode, we're going to show you how to build English sentences quickly and speak fluently without overthinking.
We'll break it down step by step, give you easy tips, and even share fun ways to practice. And don't worry, everything will be beginner-friendly.
Whether you're just starting to speak or you've been learning for a while, these tips will make a big difference.
So grab your notebook, or just listen closely. Let's get started.
All right, let's jump into it. Before we talk about how to make sentences fast, let's talk about why it's so important. Why does sentence making matter when it comes to fluency?
That's a great question. You know, many learners focus only on learning words or memorizing grammar rules, but the real magic happens when you can turn those words into full sentences, quickly and naturally.
Exactly. Fluency isn't about using big or fancy words. It's about expressing your ideas smoothly, in real time. And to do that, you need to be good at making sentences on the spot.
Right. If you can make clear and simple sentences fast, you can join conversations, share your thoughts, ask questions, basically. You can connect with people.
And let's be honest, fluency isn't about being perfect. It's about being able to speak without long pauses or feeling nervous. Sentence making helps you build that confidence.
Yes, I remember I used to freeze during conversations. I knew the words, but I didn't know how to put them together quickly. That was the missing piece, sentence building.
That happens to so many learners. You don't need to know every word in English, but you do need to know how to build a sentence fast with the words you already know.
And once you start making quick sentences, your brain starts to think in English instead of translating from your native language. That's when fluency really starts to grow.
So true. So, sentence making is really the foundation of fluency. And once you get good at it, everything else, conversation, listening, speaking, becomes much easier.
Exactly. So today we'll help our listeners build that foundation step by step. It's going to be fun and simple.
Let's do it. In the next part, we'll talk about the common struggles English learners face when trying to make sentences and how to fix them. All right, now that we know why sentence making is so important for fluency, let's talk about the struggles. Because let's face it, almost every English learner faces the same problems at the beginning.
Oh yes, I've been there. One big struggle is that learners often think in their native language first, then try to translate every word into English. That slows everything down.
Exactly. And when you translate word by word, the sentence usually sounds awkward or incorrect. English and other languages follow different patterns, so direct translation doesn't always work.
Another problem is fear of making mistakes. Learners feel like they have to speak perfectly, so they stay silent or speak very slowly with long pauses.
Right. But the truth is, fluency grows through practice, not perfection. If you're too afraid to make a mistake, you never get the chance to improve.
Yes, and here's another one I struggled with, trying to use complicated grammar or big words. I thought that would make me sound smart, but it actually made it harder for me to speak naturally.
That's so common. Many learners think fluency means using fancy vocabulary, but actually, simple and clear sentences are much better, especially when you're learning.
Another struggle is hesitation. You start speaking, then stop, because you're searching for the right words. That hesitation breaks the flow.
Exactly. And that's where learning to make sentences fast comes in. The more you practice forming simple, clear sentences, the more automatic it becomes.
So if you're listening right now and thinking, that sounds like me, don't worry. These are normal struggles and we're going to help you overcome them today.
Yes, we've got you. In the next part, we're going to walk you through a step-by-step guide on how to make sentences fast and speak fluently, starting from the basics.
You're going to love it. Let's get into it.
All right, it's time for the good stuff. Let's walk our listeners through a step-by-step guide to making sentences fast. If you follow these steps, speaking will become easier and quicker over time.
Absolutely. And we're keeping it simple so even beginners can follow along. Ready for step 1?
Step 1 is to think in patterns, not in individual words. For example, use basic sentence structures like I want to, I like, I am.
Yes, these are sentence starters that you can reuse with different words. Like, I want to learn English. I like pizza. I am happy. You don't need to make complicated grammar. Just start with simple, clear patterns.
And once these patterns are in your head, your brain doesn't have to work so hard. You just plug in new words and go.
Step 2. Use the most basic sentence structure in English subject plus verb plus object. For example, she reads books. I eat rice. They play football.
This is your go-to formula when you're stuck. Just remember, who plus does what plus to what. Like I plus watch plus movies.
If you memorize this formula, you can start building sentences in seconds.
Step 3 is to practice sentences using your real life. Talk about your day, your job, your hobbies, your family, things you already know.
Yes, because when you talk about familiar topics, it's easier to find the right words. Like, I wake up at 7 a.m., I go to school, I study nursing.
Exactly. You're not just practicing grammar, you're preparing for real conversations.
Step 4. Stop translating from your native language. Instead, try to see the picture in your mind and say it in English.
This is a game changer. For example, imagine you're drinking tea. Just say, I am drinking tea, without thinking in your own language first.
This helps your brain think in English, and the more you do it, the faster you'll speak.
Step 5 is to do sentence drills every day. Choose 5 to 10 sentence patterns and repeat them with different words. Like this, I like coffee. I like music. I like learning. I like English.
Yes, this repetition builds speed and confidence. You're training your brain like an athlete trains their body.
And don't worry about mistakes. The goal is fluency, not perfection. Mistakes are part of learning.
Step 6. Try shadowing. This means you listen to a native speaker and repeat their sentence at the same time or just after. Try it with YouTube videos, movies, or podcasts.
Shadowing helps you improve pronunciation and sentence rhythm. You'll sound more natural, and your brain will get used to English flow.
And finally, speak out loud, even if you're alone. Talk to yourself. Describe what you're doing. I am cooking rice. I am writing notes. I am learning English.
Speaking aloud trains your mouth, your brain, and your confidence. You don't need a partner. You can practice anytime, anywhere.
So let's do a quick recap. To make sentences fast and speak fluently, 1. Think in patterns. 2. Use subject plus verb plus object. 3. Practice with real-life topics. 4. Visualize, don't translate. 5. Use sentence drills. 6. Shadow native speakers. 7. Speak out loud.
These 7 steps can really change your speaking ability. Practice them daily, and you'll be surprised how fast your fluency grows.
And remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep going.
All right, now that we've gone through how to make sentences quickly, let's move on to something every English learner wants: how to speak fluently.
Yes, fluency is the dream, right? But here's the truth. Fluency doesn't come overnight. It comes from daily, smart practice. Let's talk about how to practice speaking in a way that really works.
First tip: practice speaking every single day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Speaking is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Exactly. You don't need a classroom. Just speak to yourself, record your voice, or talk to a friend. The key is to make speaking part of your daily routine. One of the best fluency hacks is repeating the same sentence many times. For example, I'm going to the store. Say it 10 times. Change the subject. He's going to the store. They're going to the store.
This helps your brain and mouth work together faster. The more automatic it becomes, the less you have to think before speaking. Fluency grows when you use English in real-life situations. That could mean talking to someone at the market, asking a question online, or joining an English-speaking group.
And if you're shy or don't have anyone to talk to, try role-playing. Pretend you're ordering food, making a phone call, or giving directions in English. Fluent speakers don't just speak, they also listen a lot. So listen to podcasts, shows, or YouTube channels and try to copy how native speakers talk.
Pay attention to how they link words, their intonation, their pauses. Then imitate them out loud. This makes your English sound natural and confident. One powerful technique is to record your voice. Choose a topic, talk for 1 minute, and listen to the recording.
It may feel strange at first, but it helps you hear your progress. You'll notice what you're doing well and where you can improve. It's like a mirror for your speaking. Want to speak fluently faster? Talk about familiar topics, your daily life, hobbies, goals, and experiences. That way, you're not searching for new words all the time.
Right. You don't need to talk about science or politics. Just talk about you. Start simple, and the fluency will come naturally. Last but not least, be consistent, not perfect. Some days will feel great. Other days, you'll feel stuck. But if you keep going, you will improve.
That's right. Fluency isn't magic. It's a result of small daily actions. So don't stop. Don't wait for the perfect sentence. Just speak.
So, let's quickly review the 7 tips to practice fluently. 1. Practice every day. 2. Repeat sentences often. 3. Use English in real situations. 4. Listen and imitate. 5. Record yourself. 6. Talk about familiar topics. 7. Be consistent.
If you follow these tips, you'll be amazed at how much your speaking improves in just a few weeks.
And remember, don't be afraid to speak. Fluency starts the moment you open your mouth. Learning English doesn't always have to be serious and boring. Let's have some fun now. Julia, how about we share a few fun and easy ways to practice speaking English?
Yes, I love this part. When learning is fun, we learn faster. So here are some simple but powerful techniques our listeners can start using today. First one, mirror talk. Stand in front of the mirror and speak to yourself in English. You can say things like, "Hi, how are you today? I am going to study now. I feel excited."
It may feel funny at first, but it's great practice. You see your face, your mouth movements, and it builds confidence too. Here's another one. Use your phone's voice assistant. Ask Siri or Google Assistant questions in English like, "What time is it? What's the weather today? Tell me a joke."
This is so fun, and it helps you speak clearly. If the assistant understands you, that means your pronunciation is good. Another fun one, sing your favorite English songs. Choose slow songs with clear lyrics and sing along. This improves your rhythm, pronunciation, and listening.
Music sticks in the brain, so you'll remember words and phrases without even trying. It's English learning with a beat. And lastly, pretend you're in a real situation. Role-play ordering food, booking a hotel, or meeting someone. You can do it alone or with a friend.
For example, say, "Hello, I'd like a cup of coffee, please. Can I have a room for 2 nights?" It's like acting, and it makes your speaking more natural and fun.
So, quick recap. Here are 4 fun ways to practice. 1. Talk to yourself in the mirror. 2. Use voice assistants. 3. Sing English songs. 4. Role play real situations.
Have fun, be silly, enjoy the process. When you smile while learning, everything gets easier.
Exactly! English should be fun, not stressful. Keep playing with the language and fluency will come. All right, now let's talk about something really important. Mistakes to avoid while making sentences in English.
Yes, many learners make the same small mistakes again and again, but don't worry. Once you know these, you can fix them easily. The first big mistake is translating directly from your native language. English sentence structure is often different, so if you translate word by word, the sentence might sound strange.
That's true. For example, in some languages you might say, "To me the book is interesting," but in English we say, "I find the book interesting." So learn English sentence patterns instead of translating. Another common mistake is leaving out the subject or the verb. For example, wrong going to the market. Correct, I am going to the market.
Yes, every sentence needs a subject and a verb, even the short ones. Don't forget them. Many beginners mix up past, present, and future tenses, like saying, "Yesterday I go to school." That should be "Yesterday I went to school."
Good point. So always check the time of the action, past, present, or future, and choose the right verb form. Some learners try to make very long sentences and get confused. But fluency doesn't mean long sentences. It means clear sentences.
Exactly. Start with short, simple sentences. Later, you can add more details.
So here are 4 common mistakes to avoid. 1. Translating directly. 2. Forgetting subject or verb. 3. Using the wrong verb. Tense. 4. Making sentences too long or complex.
Avoiding these will help you sound more natural and confident when speaking English.
And remember, mistakes are part of learning. Don't be afraid to make them. Just learn from them. Wow, what a journey! We talked about sentence making, fluency, practice methods, and even how to avoid common mistakes.
Yes, and we hope you now feel more confident and excited to speak English every day. Remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep going.
Fluency comes step by step. Keep practicing. Keep learning. And most of all, believe in yourself.
You've got this. Even 5 minutes a day can make a big difference over time. Don't stop just because it feels hard. That's part of the process.
And if today's episode helped you, we'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and tell us what new practice will you try today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.
Yes, we have many more helpful English podcasts coming your way, so hit the bell icon to stay updated.
Thank you for learning with us today. Keep making sentences, keep speaking, and remember, hello everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Jason, and today we're diving into a topic that's both exciting and challenging: how to speak advanced English. If you've been feeling stuck at an intermediate level and are ready to take your English skills to the next level, you're in the right place.
That's right, Jason. Hi, everyone. I'm Julia, your co-host. Learning to speak advanced English can feel overwhelming, but it's absolutely achievable with the right strategies and mindset. In today's episode, we'll share practical tips, common pitfalls to avoid, and some fun ways to boost your fluency. By the end of this conversation, you'll have clear steps to level up your English skills.
Absolutely. And speaking advanced English isn't just about using big words or complicated grammar. It's about communicating with confidence, precision, and nuance. So, whether you're preparing for a job interview, studying abroad, or simply aiming to express yourself more effectively, this episode has something for you.
Exactly. So grab a notebook or just sit back and relax as we guide you through the best tips to master advanced English. Let's get started.
So, Julia, I've been thinking about this lately. When I first started learning a new language, I remember feeling pretty confident at the beginner and intermediate levels. But when I tried to have deeper conversations or sound more natural, I hit a wall. Have you ever experienced something similar?
Oh, absolutely, Jason. I remember when I was learning French. At first, it was all about simple phrases and basic conversations, but once I needed to express myself in a more sophisticated way, like sharing opinions or discussing abstract topics, it became so challenging. It felt like I knew what I wanted to say, but just didn't have the words or tools to say it fluently.
Exactly. And I think that's where a lot of English learners get stuck too. They know the basics, but struggle to sound polished or natural when speaking advanced English. It's almost like they've reached a plateau, and they're not sure how to break through.
Yes, and that plateau can be really frustrating. I've noticed that many learners at this stage still rely on the same basic vocabulary and grammar structures they learned at the start. They haven't explored the more nuanced aspects of the language, like idioms, expressions, or even cultural references, which can really help them sound more advanced.
Exactly, Julia. And sometimes it's not just about the language itself. It's about confidence, too. Learners might hesitate to use new words or try advanced expressions because they're afraid of making mistakes or sounding awkward.
That's so true. But here's the thing. Mistakes are part of the process. If you're not making mistakes, you're not growing. And today, we're going to help our listeners move past that fear and give them practical tips to sound more advanced in English without feeling overwhelmed.
Absolutely. So, let's dive into the real meat of today's episode. The best tips to speak advanced English. Trust me, these tips are going to change the game for a lot of listeners. All right, let's get to the heart of today's episode. Our top tips for speaking advanced English. We've broken this down into practical, easy-to-follow strategies that you can start using today. Julia, what's the first tip on our list?
Tip number 1. Expand your vocabulary. This means going beyond basic words and learning advanced expressions, idioms, and phrasal verbs. For example, instead of saying, "I'm very tired," you could say, "I'm completely exhausted," or "I'm drained." These subtle changes make your English sound more polished and natural.
Absolutely. And one great way to do this is by reading widely. Novels, newspapers, or even professional blogs. Pay attention to how words are used in different contexts. Oh, and don't forget to jot down new words and practice using them in sentences. Julia, how about tip number 2?
Tip number 2 is mastering pronunciation and intonation. It's not just about the words you use, but how you say them. Advanced speakers often use stress and intonation to emphasize certain points, making their speech more engaging. For example, listen to how native speakers change their tone when asking questions or showing excitement.
Great point, Julia. A good way to practice this is by shadowing, listening to native speakers in podcasts, movies, or YouTube videos, and then repeating what they say, mimicking their tone and rhythm. It's like singing along to your favorite song, but with spoken English.
Exactly. Now on to tip number 3. Using advanced grammar naturally. This is where a lot of learners get intimidated, but it doesn't have to be complicated. For instance, instead of always saying, I will do this, try mixing in different tenses, like, I'm going to do this, or I would have done this if. It shows flexibility in your language skills.
That's a game changer, Julia. And to practice this, I recommend writing short stories or journal entries and intentionally using different tenses and sentence structures. It's a fun way to challenge yourself. Now, what's tip number 4?
Tip number 4 is improving your active listening skills. Listening is key to understanding advanced English, especially when native speakers use slang, contractions, or fast speech. Try listening to podcasts or audiobooks and focus on how words are connected or shortened in conversations.
Right? And don't just passively listen. Pause the audio, repeat sentences, and try to guess the meaning of new phrases from the context. This habit will help you catch nuances and learn how to use those phrases in your own speech. Finally, Julia,
Number 5.
what's our 5th
Immerse
and
yourself
final
in English environments. This doesn't mean you have to move to an English-speaking country, but surround yourself with English as much as possible. Watch movies without subtitles, think in English, and even change your phone settings to English.
That's such a great tip, Julia. Immersion forces you to interact with the language naturally, which is the best way to grow. And don't forget to practice speaking, even if it's just talking to yourself or recording your voice. It helps you get comfortable with using the language in real time.
Exactly, Jason. It's all about making English a part of your daily life. Even small changes can make a big difference over time.
All right, so to recap, our 5 tips are: expand your vocabulary, master pronunciation and intonation, use advanced grammar naturally, improve your active listening skills, and immerse yourself in English environments. Trust us, these strategies work.
Yes, and remember, speaking advanced English isn't just about the language, it's about confidence and practice. Keep pushing yourself, and you'll see progress faster than you expect.
All right, Julia, now that we've shared our tips for speaking advanced English, let's make this a little more personal. I want to ask you, what's your favorite method to improve your English, especially at an advanced level?
Great question, Jason. For me, I absolutely love shadowing. I find a podcast, movie, or even a TED Talk, and I listen carefully to the speaker. Then I pause and repeat exactly what they said, mimicking their tone, pace, and even their accent. It helps me sound more natural and confident. How about you?
Shadowing is such a great method, Julia. For me, I love reading novels or articles on topics that interest me. When I come across advanced words or phrases, I write them down and try to use them in conversations later. It's such a simple habit, but it's helped me expand my vocabulary and use it naturally.
That's awesome, Jason. Speaking of vocabulary, let's try something fun with our listeners right now. How about we share a couple of advanced phrases and challenge them to use these in their own conversations?
Great idea. All right, here's one. Go the extra mile. It means putting in extra effort to do something exceptionally well. For example, if you want to succeed in your career, you need to go the extra mile. Julia, do you have another one?
Yes, I do. Here's one, a blessing in disguise. It means something that seems bad at first, but turns out to be good. For example, losing that job was a blessing in disguise because it led me to an even better opportunity.
Those are great phrases, Julia. All right, listeners, your challenge is to use go the extra mile, or a blessing in disguise in a sentence, and share it with us in the comments. We'd love to see how you use them.
Yes. And if you're feeling creative, try using both phrases in the same sentence for an extra challenge. For example, losing that project was a blessing in disguise because it pushed me to go the extra mile on a better opportunity. What do you think, Jason?
Perfect, Julia. This exercise is a fun way to practice and learn new phrases. Remember, the more you use advanced expressions like these, the more natural they'll become in your conversations.
Exactly, and we'd love to hear your favorite advanced words or phrases too. Share them in the comments or message us directly. Let's keep this conversation going.
Now that we've shared some tips and had a fun, interactive segment, let's talk about something just as important: common mistakes to avoid when trying to speak advanced English. Julia, what's a mistake you often see learners making?
One big mistake is focusing too much on using complicated vocabulary without understanding its proper context. For example, learners might try to use an advanced word like conundrum, but end up using it in a situation where it doesn't fit. It's always better to use simpler words correctly than to misuse advanced ones.
That's a great point, Julia. Another mistake I've noticed is neglecting pronunciation. Even if you know advanced vocabulary, unclear pronunciation can make it hard for others to understand you. Practicing how to say words correctly is just as important as learning what they mean.
Absolutely, Jason. And another common mistake is overusing filler words like, or, especially when trying to sound more natural. These fillers can disrupt your flow and make you seem less confident. Instead, take a brief pause if you need time to think.
Yes, pauses are powerful. One last mistake I often see is being afraid to make mistakes. Many learners hesitate to speak at all because they're worried about sounding awkward or using the wrong word. But mistakes are a natural part of the learning process, and they're how you improve.
Exactly, Jason. Remember, even native speakers make mistakes. The key is to learn from them and keep going. If you embrace your mistakes, you'll feel more confident and progress faster.
That's such great advice, Julia. So to recap, avoid misusing advanced words, pay attention to pronunciation, minimize filler words, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. These small adjustments can make a big difference in your journey to speaking advanced English.
Absolutely. And remember, it's all about progress, not perfection. Keep practicing and refining your skills and you'll get there.
All right. Before we wrap up, let's summarize today's key points into actionable takeaways that our listeners can start applying right away. Julia, what's the first one?
Sure. Takeaway number 1, focus on expanding your vocabulary with advanced words, phrases, and idioms. But remember to use them in the right context to sound natural and polished.
That's a solid start. Takeaway number 2, practice pronunciation and intonation by shadowing native speakers. Mimic their tone, rhythm, and stress to improve your fluency and sound more natural.
Absolutely. And takeaway number 3, improve your active listening skills. Listen to podcasts, movies, or audiobooks, and pay attention to how words are connected and used in real-life contexts.
Good one, Julia. Takeaway number 4, use advanced grammar flexibly. Try practicing different tenses and sentence structures to make your speech dynamic and interesting.
Lastly, takeaway number 5, immerse yourself in English as much as possible. Surround yourself with English through reading, writing, thinking, and even changing your phone's language settings.
Perfect. These 5 takeaways will help you build advanced English skills step by step. And remember, it's all about consistent practice and patience.
Yes, and don't forget to have fun with it. Enjoy the process and celebrate your progress no matter how small it seems.
Well, That brings us to the end of today's episode. We hope you found these tips and insights helpful for speaking advanced English confidently and naturally.
Yes, and remember, improving your English is a journey. It's okay to take small steps and enjoy the progress you make along the way. Every bit of practice brings you closer to your goal.
If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more tips and lessons like this. Your support helps us reach and help more learners just like you.
Also, we'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, questions, or even your favorite advanced English phrases in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going.
And if you want to practice further, check out our other episodes and playlists for more lessons on vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar.
Thanks so much for joining us today. Keep practicing, stay confident, and most importantly, have fun while learning.
Take care, everyone, and we'll see you in the next episode of the English Learning Podcast. Bye for now.